Good
chug,
night.
chuggity chug. He's drunk as fuck.
Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a 5 or 6 gallon batch of the mixed berry wine because I want to go ahead and test it, as compared to the fruit as opposed to, just juice concentrates. So, the nice thing about all this is it's distilled, so I don't have to go along and put cabinet tablets, all that kind of stuff in there. I might put one in for good measure just for the sugar, but pretty much everything's been cleaned up and set up. So, what I got here is 8 3-quart bottles, which equals 6 gallons. So this is 1.5, this is 3, that's 6. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is use, there's 5 apple punches, which has got apple juice, grape juice, cherry juice, and orange juice. So it's them 4 juices in there, primarily apple. I would assume because it's listed first and it's on the title. Then I got 3 bottles of Welch's White Grape Cherry, which contains white grape, apple, pear, cherry juices. Yeah, so it's all that. I read through it and I made sure that, vitamin C, it ain't going to bother anything. Just make sure that it says no artificial flavors and preservatives added. That's important. You want to make sure that you read these ingredients, and if there's something on there you can't pronounce or just kind of is off and is not listed as a fruit, you want to look it up and make sure it isn't going to do something to fermentation, because, you'll ruin your whole batch and you would have wasted 6 gallons. So that's something to think about. So what I'm going to go here is I've went ahead and disinfected my bucket. And I'm going to go ahead and there it goes. Well, I guess the swirl kind of sucked. It ain't gonna work on these type of bottles. So, tried to swirl it, didn't work. It's got to be a selling bottle. This one might do it. Let's see what happens. Alright, while you were away, I went ahead and added all the ingredients that I was going to need, all the extras. So, I've got my 6 gallons of juice here. And I went ahead and added 3 teaspoons of acid blend, 1 teaspoon of peptic enzyme, which I'm not going to need a lot because this is pretty much clear as it is, 3 tablespoons of yeast nutrients, and 2 Camden tablets, which, this has been pasteurized, but I'm going to add sugar, which, I don't think it would bother anything, but at the same time, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and dump that in here now. That's all in. This likes to stick. Alright. The other thing I'm going to add is I went ahead, I don't want to use up all that stuff now, I went ahead and chopped up some raisins, which I've done this once before, but I just, chop it up, go ahead and go for a couple minutes, get this all done, but, I've done this off camera so you guys wouldn't have to sit here and watch me do it for a long period of time. But this is the only fruit that's going to go in there. I'm going to go ahead and add it now. There it is. And the other thing I need to add is sugar, which, like always, I'll add 10 pounds to start off with. And then, from there, I'll decide what I want to do, if I want to add more, because, you can't ever take it away. I don't think I'm going to make it as strong as I made the last batch, but there we go. Alright, so I added the 10 pounds of sugar, and I'm going to go ahead and mix it up now. Alright, I went ahead and mixed up all my stuff in my 6 gallon bucket right here. And I decided, since I'm making the mixed berry, and another mixed berry, I decided I'd go ahead and keep most of the things the same. So I went ahead and added sugar until it was 1.1. So, I think I'll be content with that. That's, what is that? That's about 15% by volume, close to. And, it'll be pretty close to the other one, so I can put them side by side. as grape concentrate as opposed to actual fruit, and see what the two differences are. Which I'm interested to see how this experiment turns out. The only thing that's left to do is add the yeast, but of course I put Camden tablets in there, so that's just a no-go. The raisins are in there, so that's kind of helping disinfect, making sure there's no bacteria or yeast on them. But at the same time, I don't have. See, I got yeast nutrients, but I don't have the energizers. And by the way I understand it, you can use raisins, and you're pretty much good on the energizer part. So that's why I add the raisins. It works well. I mean, it is what it is. They'll do all right in there, I assume. So let me go ahead and pump this out. Put this back in here. Leave a little bit behind so I can put it in the Dixie cup and taste it and note it, which, hey, one thing you should always have is a handy dandy notebook. It's, mine, I've got, just papers upon papers upon paper, just the front half, I'd use different sections for notes or whatever, but just like, doing designing labels or whatever. But it's a good thing to have because you always have a reference. If you mess something up, you know not to do it again. You know where to make if you made your mistakes. If you make a real good batch, you have it. It's there. So, there's a difference between, experimenting in science, and just experimenting is doing it without writing notes. You want to do it on a scientific level. You want to make sure you have everything written down and everything good to go in that regards. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and close this up, put an airlock on it, wait the 24 hours, and then put the yeast in it and get back with you. Alright, you can see it's day 2. And the airlock is just going to town. There's definitely some fermentation going on in there. That's what you want to see. So, I'm going to go ahead and mix it up. Just make sure I get a little bit of aeration in it. Take a hydrometer reading. And go from there. Make sure I make all my recordings. Make sure I know what's going on. So, that's about the end of it. I'll keep brewing if you keep viewing. Peace.